It is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, and I now call to order the May meeting of the Equity Advisory Committee in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our committee members, as well as to any members of the public joining us online today. This meeting will proceed until 8 p.m., and we appreciate your participation. For those watching remotely, we stream live on YouTube, and our meetings take place every third Tuesday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m. I will now read our Dakota Land, Water, and People Acknowledgement. The Metropolitan Council acknowledges that the land we currently call Minnesota, and specifically the 7-county metro region, is the ancestral homeland of the Dakota Oyate, who are present and active contributors to our thriving region. As a part of the Metropolitan Council's commitment to address the unresolved legacy of genocide, dispossession, and settler colonialism, and the fact that government institutions, including the Metropolitan Council, benefited economically, politically, and institutionally after the forcible removal of the Dakota Oyate, the Metropolitan Council is dedicated to instilling land, water, and people commitments in regional policy. These commitments support the Dakota Oyate, the 11 federally recognized tribes in Minnesota, Ho-Chunk Nation, and the American Indian community, representing over 150 diverse tribal nations that call the 7-county region home. I will now turn it over to our OEEO staff. Do we have quorum, Tori?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and do roll call. Before we proceed, we will conduct a roll call to establish quorum. As a reminder, members should have received handouts or presentations via email, and all materials are also posted on the EAC website located at metcouncil.org. So I'll go ahead and call names. If you are here, please say here or present. Zachariah Abdullahi.
Present.
Councilmember Tony Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Dr. Tyrone Carter. Yeah, he's here. I see. Brittany Clausen.
My mic is off.
I got you. Carmi Ann Foster.
Present.
Mitchell Hansen.
Here.
Samir Icy.
Here.
Vanessa Jenkins. Michael Lucini.
Here.
Councilmember Yasin Osman.
Here.
Councilmember John Pacheco. He's here. Anita Uvina Davis.
Here.
Mercedes Yarbrough. Mercedes has asked to call off today, so she has been excused from attendance. But if I could just say that I'm so happy that we have quorum today.
Yay.
Now go ahead and pass it back over to Carmen.
With quorum established, our first order of business is the approval of today's agenda. A draft agenda was distributed in advance via email, and it's also available in your handouts on the EAC webpage at metcouncil.org. Are there any additions, deletions, or modification requests before we proceed with the vote to approve our agenda? All right. If there is no suggested changes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So move.
Is there a second? Thank you.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, our agenda is approved. Our second order of business is to approve our meeting minutes from last month. Your meeting minutes were distributed in that same email and are also available on our website. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing no corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
So move.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. I will now entertain a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Then our minutes are also adopted as distributed. The members of the public are invited to provide comments to our committee. We will now invite members of the public to address the committee. If you wish to speak, please note that you must have pre-registered online prior to this meeting. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to share their comments. Is there anyone present online who has registered to speak during our meeting today, Tori? All right. Seeing that there is no one registered, we will proceed with the next item on our agenda. And with that, I'll turn it over to Councilmember Pacheco for our speakers today.
Thank you, Carmianne. Well, this evening we have a very interesting presentation. So we now move to Q1 2025 Safety and Security Action Plan. For this segment, we are pleased to welcome Sergeant Kandra Mohammed with the Metro Transit Police Department, Shamara Baggett from Transit Rider Investment Program, and Manager Selena Martina, Equity and Inclusion Senior Manager, who will present on this topic. Each presenter has 20 to 30 minutes. Time depends on presenter needs for the presentation, followed by a 15-minute for questions and answers. So basically, we're asking to hold your questions. And then at the end of the presentation, we're more than welcome to take your questions. So with that, thank you, and we'll move to the presentation.
Thank you, Chair, Councilmember Pacheco and Madam Chair Carmian Foster, committee members, good evening. My name is Selena Martina. I use she, her, ella pronouns, and I am the Senior Manager of Equity and Inclusion for Metro Transit, and I'm here with Sergeant Mohammed and Shamara Baggett, and also I see Antoinette Brason from Metro Transit. Today we are going to present you with some information about the Safety and Security Action Plan. And I really will ask you for some patience as I am sharing my screen and hopefully able to share our presentation. So give me a quick moment. Can you give me a thumbs up or just if you are able to see my presentation? Good, I see Shamara. Great. So I'm going to ask the other presenters to introduce themselves as before we start. So Sergeant Mohammed, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I can do that. Hello, everyone. My name is Sergeant Kadra Mohammed. As Selena said, I work for the Metro Transit Police Department. I've worked here for about 10 years now, and I am in charge of our community service officers and our recruitment team.
Thank you, Sergeant. And Shamara, can you introduce yourself, please, too?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Shamara Baggett. I am the interim manager of TRIP, program that started a little over a year ago. I've been in charge as manager since January of 2025, but been with the Metro Transit for 12 years now. So thank you.
Thank you, Shamara. Antoinette, you'd like to introduce yourself, please?
Good evening, everyone. I am Antoinette Brisson. I am the Assistant Director of Field Operations. I oversee our Trip Transit Rider Investment Program operations, our Transit Control Center, and our Street Operations Department. And I've been with the council within Metro Transit for almost 17 years.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So today we are presenting you with some information about the Safety and Security Action Plan, and we really acknowledge that many of the committee members who are also council members may have seen this presentation or heard about this plan before. So we hope that, you bear with us as we, go over and share more information with the rest of the committee members. Okay, so the agenda for today's presentation, we are going to provide you with a background and overview of the Safety and Security Action Plan and the action items that are included there. Also, a program and project updates, especially on supplemental security and our TRIP program, which stands for Transit Rider Investment Program. And Shamara will share more about the program that she manages. And then we'll turn it over to Sergeant Mohammed to give us a transit police department update. She's going to be sharing a little bit about staffing and hiring initiatives, partnerships, and community outreach. And hopefully at the end, we have some questions for you, but we'll have some time for discussion and hopefully answering your questions. So I'd like to start by sharing that our Safety and Security Action Plan is part of our Metro Transit adopted forward strategic framework. The vision and mission of the strategic framework for Metro Transit is to connect people, strengthen communities, and improve lives by delivering, quality public transportation. And our Safety and Security Action Plan falls under one of our strategic priorities, which is experience, right in the middle there. There are three key strategic priorities, one around employees, one around experience, and the third one around services. So our Safety and Security Action Plan includes 43 actions that help Metro Transit align work and provide resources and services to consistently deliver safe, clean, welcoming experience to riders on our system. A little bit of background: this Safety and Security Action Plan has started, early in 2021, and it has been a phased approach. Some of our council members have been involved in the first iteration of our Safety and Security Action Plan when we did community engagement and a lot of research about transit safety, especially as we looked into the role of our transit police department back in 2021. We did extensive community outreach and we learned a lot about what our riders and also people who don't ride think about safety and the role of police officers on our system. So that really created the ground and the foundation for the council in February of 2022 to establish what we call a police work group. So council members, along with the general manager of Metro Transit and some staff members, including myself, I was part of that police work group. We worked together for several months to better understand different perspectives and how people experience our system. What was, what were the concerns? What were the perceptions of safety, and also understanding safety statistics and the role of police. So that work completed with a recommendation adopted by the Metropolitan Council of creating and developing what we call today a Safety and Security Action Plan, so SSAP. Since we have so many acronyms, one more, SSAP. So the Safety and Security Action Plan was developed and completed for adoption in June 2022. And since then, Metro Transit has been working on the 43 actions included in that plan. Coming often on a quarterly basis to the Metropolitan Council to provide updates. We have gone in front of legislative committees because there are a lot of, 43 actions that include a variety of work that Metro Transit is aligning under three different areas of work. One is improving conditions on the system. The second area of work is training and supporting employees, because we also heard during the police work group prior to the development of the plan from our ATU union and from frontline employees about how important safety is for them as well, not only for our riders, right? And the third area of work is engaging customers and partners in this work. This work cannot be done alone. We have to create sustainable partnerships in order to all, improve our system and especially the perception of safety. So this slide really gives you a visual, a graph of where we are in the implementation of the 43 action items. As you can see, most of the items are either implemented or ongoing, with some being in progress of implementation, and a few already completed. There are just a couple that are, still being planned, but all of the 43 items included in that plan have started already. And you can see the color coding here. It represents, how many are, for example, in the implemented and ongoing that are under the area of work of engaging customers and partners. That's the red color. How many are in training and supported employees? You can see the yellow, and some, also in the improving conditions in the system. So just high level of what the Safety and Security Action Plan has we're working on during 2025. So these are just a few of our initiatives for this year. So there are ongoing efforts to continue to expand official presence. And this is very important because we learned early on in 2021, when we did extensive community outreach and engagement, that having, official presence on a system improves our perception, or riders' perception of safety. And it doesn't have to be always a uniform presence or a police presence. It can be a community-based organization. It can be, our trip personnel that we'll talk a little bit more about. So we took that serious in terms of that feedback from community, and we, developed this plan of increasing layers of presence that I'll talk a little bit more about in in some slides coming up shortly. We also heard from our employees, especially bus and train operators, that de-escalation training was something that was needed, and definitely we delivered some de-escalation trainings last year in 2024, but that doesn't end. We continue to offer de-escalation training to first frontline employees. And we're expanding that not only for operators, but also some facility workers, cleaners, etc. And we've hired a manager for peer support. We know that having a network of support of colleagues of yours that have the same role within the organization is something that is of high value of our operators. So we are really dedicating staffing resources to having a more robust peer support program, especially for new operators, and that would help with the de-escalation techniques and support, after any incidents, etc. I'm proud to say that the anti-harassment initiative, we call it campaign, has launched, and I said I'm proud because that's an area of work within my unit, equity and inclusion. And it took us some time since the plan was adopted in 2022 to really develop an anti-harassment campaign that was relevant for our riders and for our communities. So we heard from high schoolers, we heard from operators, we heard from college students, community partners about what Metro Transit's role was in decreasing sexual harassment, or to mitigate and make our space and system safer and free of harassment. So you can see there in that slide, there's an art that a community artist created for us. So we launched a reporting tool where customers anonymously can tell us their experience if they witness or they experience themselves sexual harassment. This is not something that replaces calling 911 or deployment of police. This is just in addition to better understand where harassment happens in our system and how to deploy resources. So it's important that our writers know that their story and their experiences are value, and we want to hear about them so we can do better. And we have done a lot more work around outreach and communication of the safety and security action plan. Like I said, we are, creating posts and making sure that, the media, our media outlets know about these actions and the investments for safety and security. So our writers feel reassured that we hear about their experiences. We are working really hard. We're creating systems that are cleaner and safer for everybody. As I mentioned earlier, having a coordinated layers of official presence was something that we heard loud and clear that writers wanted to see. They feel safer when they see more official presence. So this is just some numbers of people we have out there. So we still have, our police, law enforcement and police officers that are out there day and night offering, calls for service, understanding, and sharing, supporting our riders, doing what they need to do to keep our system free of crimes and, safer for everybody. So we have about 112 police officers that are in our force that have tons and tons of miles on our BRT, train, and local routes to surveil and support. The next layer of presence is what Shamara will talk later about, which is our trip agents. And as you can see in the picture, they wear uniforms, so they're easily distinguished, and they are supporting our fare enforcement, so ensuring that people have knowledge about how to get a paid, fare, but also, doing citations in case of non-compliance. There are 60 plus agents on our system, and Shamara will talk a little bit more about what they do and how they perform their duties. We also have real-time information center. So we have 5 staff, including police officers, that continuously monitor our system from stations, shelters, bus, BRTs, and light rail. Sergeant Mohammed will talk a little bit more about community service officers. These are trainees that help also that layer of presence, official layer of presence, and they primarily work with police officers, and they support the LRT, blue line, green line, and some BRTs as well. And we continue to have a contract with Ally Universal, and they are providing security officers at 8 different locations. So these security officers, they stay at a location and they help riders. They report problems. They connect riders to resources, etc. And that last layer of support is our safety ambassadors. So this speaks a little bit of the partnerships we have with the Downtown St. Paul Alliance, and having safety ambassadors and another layer of official uniform friendly faces that help our riders with information, resources, and that perception of safety. So with that, I'll turn it over to Shamara to go over the Transit Rider Investment Program.
All right. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Shamara, and I will go over TRIP Agents or Transit Rider Investment Program. So just some brief information about the program. We have our agents go out in teams of 3 to 5, and they ride on the system. They ride to inspect fares and issue citations as needed, educate passengers with fare or just anything that may go on, assist with wayfinding. Also, we provide outreach resources for the homeless or people who may be dealing with addiction. And then we also administer Narcan and certified in CPR. So our agents, they do quite a bit. And so as of 2025, well, as you can see in the chart here, we from 2021 to 2024, we've only had, what are they? I'm sorry. These fare inspections were done from our PD side. But starting February of 2024, TRIP agents were boots on the ground as well. So we see how high our inspections went up in 2024, and they continue to go up in 2025. So as of the year to date, we have inspected almost 500,000 ride check or inspections since 2025 alone, and that's only TRIP agents. We have about 66 TRIP agents as of May of 2025. That includes our Metro Transit agents along with our contract agents as well. We are looking to hire up to 100 plus by the end of 2025, just so we can have more coverage on the lines. As of right now, we are on the green line. We are on the blue line, the C and D, and in March, we started to be on the gold line. We started checking fares on the gold line. We are looking to expand out to the B line. We have the B line that will be in effect starting in June. And then we also have the E line that will be going, deploying out in, I believe it is December. And so we intend to be on those lines and the rest of the BRT lines. Our agents are out on the field as early as 5 a.m. And we are 5 a.m. into midnight. As we grow, those hours will expand as well so that we can start to cover all the routes time that's out there. We have 2 locations as of right now, and that is the Annex building, and which is over at the Haywood location in Minneapolis. And we are also located at the Lower Town Green Line building, and that's downtown St. Paul. Some other things we have done, again, Narcan, we have administered 24 Narcan as of 2024, and I'm sorry, as of 2025. 2024, we had 15 administered, and that's our agents going out there and reversing overdoses and saving lives. So they're doing a lot of great things out there. We have seen a major impact on our green line as far as just individuals being compliant with the fare, their behavior on the trains. People, we get compliments daily about people and how they enjoy riding the train now that our agents are out there. We are looking again to expand so that we can have more presence, and we're excited about that. So as of right now, we are in the process of hiring more agents and getting them all trained to be out on the field. And I believe we'll be doing questions at the end, but that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Shamara.
Thank you, Selena.
So Sergeant Mohammed, you wanna go over the police department highlights, please?
Sure, I can start. Hello, everyone. Again, Sergeant Kader Mohammed. So, as we kind of take a different approach to policing or our public safety as a whole community approach. Here you can see one of our homeless action team officers who is sitting with our outreach team, and a previous client is now a success story, and he got clean and is part of our HAT team. He actually goes out and does outreach with our officers, but taking this whole community approach into our public safety, and getting to know our ridership. Our officers are out there on the ground. We know some of our folks on a first name basis. So really taking that traditional policing or public safety approach and using the aspect as looking into community as a whole and policing as a service. Of obviously Metro Transit, we are providing public transportation as a service, and our officers on board of all of our lines, whether that's blue or green line or even on our BRT lines, are taking that public service as also an approach to how we police our communities. We are also empowering our workforce through different professional developments and career opportunities. As I mentioned before, I'm in charge of our recruitment team. So our officers really take the time out of their work days to be at as many events as we can, and try to get the word out that we are hiring not only for police officer positions, but our community service officer. We have and I'll go into that in the next couple slides, in our pathways program as well. And that there are different routes that you can go into to join the police department. And even within the department, some of the career opportunities that our officers have to grow and enrich themselves. We currently have acting sergeant positions, acting lieutenants, and as well as the acting captains. And this is providing some leadership and career opportunities for our officers to get that on the job experience and work experience as far in these acting roles. So that's one way that we are empowering our workforce. And as you can see here in the chart, our staffing levels, we currently have 112 officers, and we have 59 vacant positions right now, and we are working closely with HR to do police interviews on a bi-weekly basis so that we can get more folks into the door and kind of streamline that system and get more boots on the ground. Same thing goes for our community service officers. Currently we have 18, but we are constantly training in and hiring new CSOs, and I'll go into further detail about what that CSO program looks like, but really the intention is for them to, once they finish school, go into our police force as well. And we are also doing bi-weekly interviews for CSO position as well to try to get them and streamline that process into the police force. Our support services are really growing. You can see that we are really almost at capacity, which is great. And they do a lot of help for our police department that our officers don't do, and provide the opportunity for us to really get out on the street and be visible on the system, as Selena mentioned before, because of the work our support services do for us within the department. So as I mentioned, we have a community service officer pathways program, or CSO for short, so you'll hear me use that acronym. Not to add the acronyms to everybody's list, but the CSO program, our Pathways program, is really meant for some of our folks who want to make a career change, that possibly they don't need to have any law enforcement experience or any degree required, but some of them possibly already have a degree in a different field and they're choosing to come into law enforcement now. But we provide them, the participants that going through this process can earn up to 12 college degree credits paid for by the council at no cost to them. They're able to work part-time for the police department and receive Met Council benefits. So it's really, I think, a great way to get your foot in the door and especially if you're wanting to make that career change or move into this field, it's a great way to test the waters and see if this is really what you are looking to go into. Currently, we are having our third cohort underway, so that we have sessions that have started. So that will start, in 2 days, and applications will be open soon for our fourth cohort. Right now has been really popular in even our bus operators who are interested in making that career change into law enforcement, which is great for us. And as I mentioned, they are able to earn those college degree credits, intro level, at no cost to them, and work at the same time and gain that experience. This has really become a model for our success for the police department. Majority of our CSOs have a high chance of getting hired as a police officer, and they are really a step above their traditional police officer hirees because of that experience that they are able to gain within the department, the connections that they make with the officers, connections that they make with the public. They learn all of the lines, green and blue, the gold line that was mentioned earlier, and different kind of BRT stations that they are at. And they kind of know the system as a whole and how we operate, not only within the police department, but as Metro Transit. Some of our patrol functions and operations have also changed to a beat-focused operation. Our officers are centered along some of our areas that have what we call hotspots or have created some issues for our riders. So beat focused operations along Hamlin and Airport as well. These are data driven decisions that have been made based on some complaints that we've received from ridership and also the level of crime in certain areas along the line or along the system. And that's where these beat operations have really been focused on. And we obviously are responding to the customers' feedbacks or the community's feedback on areas that they feel less safe, not only based on, as Selena said, some of the harassment campaign data, also our crime levels, and through surveys that are given to the community. So we're really responsive to that and ensuring that our patrol operations is focused around those areas where our patrons feel that need to be improved upon. We have implemented a unit called the Transit Response Unit, and similar to the beat focused operations, they are really targeting and focusing their efforts on these high crime areas or areas where we are really targeting issues that need to be addressed based on, again, our customer complaints. And working hand in hand with our trip agents as well, and ensuring that if they are having a certain amount of problems in an area, that our officers, our transit response unit as well, are focusing in those areas to ensure that those problems are resolved. And as I mentioned, the focus enforcement details. So we work hand in hand with Minneapolis PD and St. Paul PD to do these details in certain areas, again, to target those activities, unwanted activities on the lines. Which brings me to the next slide as far as partnerships goes. Some of the ongoing partnerships that we have are the University Corridor. There was a meeting today to discuss this exactly that, and that's how the beat, Hamlin Beat came about, is through this group here and discussing on how we can better enforce some of our laws, not only within Metro Transit, but along with our partners in St. Paul. Same goes for Metro Gold Line. We have worked with Maplewood PD to ensure that we are providing as much coverage on that line, especially since it's a newer line. And the Green Line extension is no exception to that, working with other jurisdictions to ensure that we are covering all of our bases along that line as well. We have an officer assigned to the Violent Crime Reduction Unit, and that has gone really well. Is a partnership that we have with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, or the BCA, and Specialty Police Department Work Group. So Metro Transit obviously being one of Specialty Police Department, the U of M is another one, and Airport PD as well. And really working together cohesively. As you can see in this photo, a lot of different agencies coming together because it is a group effort. And the problems that we are seeing along the lines don't just belong to us, they belong to everyone in our community. So working together is really important in that sense. And then the Transit Police Peer Advisory Group, the Chief of Police does meet with this group quite regularly. And they are other transit groups to discuss the similar issues that we are all seeing nationwide on transit system. And then just to list a few that the chief is also working on is the Chiefs Association, which brings together chiefs from all over the state of different departments and collaborating ideas on how we can all make our community safer. The Department of Public Safety, Criminal Justice Coordination Committee, the police associations, which includes our Asian Police Association, the Latino Police Association, Asian Police Association, Somali American Police Association, and the Women's Police Association. Sorry, that's a lot. But it's just to kind of show that, there's so many working groups going on at once, and it's not us just doing it in a silo. The Minnesota Law Enforcement Administration, Administrative Professionals is also another group that we are working closely with.
Thank you, Sergeant Mohammed. And, this is the time where we like to engage in discussion and entertain some questions. We have prepared some questions for a discussion, but certainly open to any questions that the committee may have after hearing the presentation of our, high level of our Safety and Security Action Plan. So I'll move. Here are some of the questions that we presented to you. We would like to present to you. What questions do you have? What other topics or information would be relevant to share with this committee around our Safety and Security Action Plan, and what cadence? How often do you want to hear updates on the Safety and Security Action Plan? And then the last question we have for you is, are there any emerging equity considerations that should be factored in while we are implementing this plan? And with that, Chair, yeah.
Yeah, just a quick note, as we get into the questions, please use the raise your hand function and not the chat. That way we can manage it better. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Oh, perfect. No, I'm just turning back to you, Councilmember Pacheco, and Madam Chair Foster to to moderate or facilitate the questions.
All right. Well, we have one right already here. This is Councilmember Carter, Tyrone.
I like to say I really like the report, and I really like the work that you guys are doing. I would love to hear from some of the individual groups as to what they see ahead for the summer. The summer is always a challenging time. And so it'd be great to hear from some of the community service officers and some of the other the police officers as to what they see ahead, because this is a different summer because before we were coming right out of COVID, and so now I'm hoping we're going into a more normalized period. So I was just curious as to what they see ahead. As to this summer's characteristically occurring.
Chair, Councilmember Pacheco, Madam Chair Foster, thank you, committee member, Councilmember Dr. Tyrone Carter. I don't know if Sergeant Mohammed wants to talk a little bit about, seasonality and in crime and how we prepare. We always take, we say, oh, winter is coming and it's going to be a tough winter, but now summer. So I will let, Sergeant Mohammed maybe talk a little bit about how we prepare for summer 2025.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Thank you. As far as our community service officers go, or our CSOs, during the summertime, they really do focus heavily on our special events. So they are visible during the Twins games and soccer games, Vikings, and even tonight they're at a concert at the US Bank Stadium. So as far as summer months go, it gets really busy for them. Especially as they kind of wind down for school, they have a little bit more time to be more visible during special events. As far as the officers go, as you mentioned, summer it can be quite busy. Everyone wants to be outside, and we do those focused patrol details, as I mentioned before, especially with our other agencies, our partnering agencies such as St. Paul, to target certain areas along the Green Line and ensure that the progress that we've made thus far isn't that we're not taking a step back, working alongside TRIP. And same kind of goes for the Blue Line as well. We have partnered along with our federal agencies as well, in ensuring that we are visible along the system as a whole, but specifically based on crime stats and our customer feedback, we are making sure that we are in certain targeted areas.
Thank you, Sergeant Mohammed. And I also want to add, we didn't cover today. Today's presentation was more around our safety and security, but our plan also includes standards for repair and cleanliness. So we know that seasonality also impacts the amount of garbage or how we see the system and how we are able to keep it clean. Summer is an exciting time that we can connect hose and really power wash many of our stations and shelters. So that, hopefully will impact how people perceive our system, where in the winter it's harder in the winter. We don't have access to water, so it's harder to power wash some of the stations. So I encourage you to, check out the Safety and Security Action Plan and look into our cleaning standards, because our maintenance and facility and ground crews are doing an amazing job keeping our system clean, and that also improves our, the perception of safety and how welcome our system is. So, yeah.
I guess my follow-up to that is, I was just wondering, if you look at last summer and you look at this summer, do you anticipate them looking that much different, or in terms of what you'll be facing?
Yeah, it's hard to say without having those numbers in front of me. But I would say there seems to be a consistency. We have different level of difficulty in the winter, of course, being it cold. Our unsheltered population are looking for warm places to be. We don't have that much of an issue in the summertime along the green or blue lines along our train stations. So it's a different kind of battle that we need to chase in the summertime, but I don't foresee it being any worse than in the previous years. Again, it's difficult for me to say without those numbers. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carmian, you have your hand up there?
I do. Thank you for the recognition, council member. As you were talking about the new officers that Metro Council has brought on to support the bus lines, you mentioned that they provide mental and chemical health supports and that they provide Narcan and those sorts of things. I'm curious if their roles enforcing fares have impacted at all community members' willingness to approach them and seek resources, or have impacted the response that they receive from riders when they approach them to provide support.
Chair, Councilmember Pacheco, and Madam Chair Foster, that is a great question, and I'm going to ask Shamara or Antoinette to share a little bit about how our TRIP agents, that they wear full uniform, are able to still connect and provide, connecting our riders to needed resources and services. So Shamara, go ahead.
Yes, a good question. So yes, we do have more customers approaching us, requesting resources for like shelters, let's say rehab and things of that nature. We also connect them to our HAT team, which is part of our Metro Transit PD team, and we work closely with them. We also carry socks and granola bars that we pass out to some of the customers that are in need. But then we also find those customers who just simply do not want those resources or not looking for that help. And then over time, us building those relationships, some of them do decide to come and say, hey, can you call the HAT team today? I do want to get some resources. So they know the blue shirts, and they know the HAT team as well. And so we just connect with our teams, and we try to get them as many resources as possible, especially in the winter months. It gets brutal out there, and we don't want the customers to just think that we're just out there enforcing, but we're also out here trying to support the community as well. So I hope I answered your question.
You did, for sure.
Maybe just for other ones' knowledge here, what does HAT stand for?
Yeah.
Homeless Action Team.
Yep. I'm sorry. Yes, and it's a unit within the Metro Transit Police Department.
So,
And therefore, it's a small unit for, 3 officers and 1 sergeant, and they create a huge impact. They are very well known in our community of riders. They're very visible, very well connected. We work with our council community development division and our housing, authority, so HRA, to ensure that those riders that are eligible and they're ready, they may receive a voucher to be, housed in our suburbs. So it's amazing the work that the HAT team does, and I encourage you to invite them to a meeting so you can learn more about them.
committee member Edward McDonald, you have your hand up?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Just a couple of comments. Just listening to the presentation, you do have a very solid community-driven feedback plan. It's great. And you can kind of tell that's driving a lot of what you do and how you do your programming. Your plan is very connected, collaborative, and comprehensive, which is a lot of thought has gone into it, and it seemed to be administered the same way. And as I said before, it's producing some great results. The couple of questions I have, the first one is, it looked like you have a lot of folks that you're going to be hiring in the future. And can you talk a little bit about what your approach will be to ensure equitable hiring opportunities to ensure that you maintain growing diversity within the workforce as you move forward filling those positions? And then also have just a question about your logo. If you can go back to it, the forward logo on the slide, I think it's on the very first one.
Committee member,
you
let
could-
me let me go backwards. Let's see. This one?
When I first saw it, it looked like it said "for war."
Yes, there is a
I saw all the uniforms and I thought "for war." It's a nice creative logo, but couldn't the logo piece go in the 0 and the D stand out? That way it doesn't confuse a layperson like me that the whole plan is about "for war" versus "forward," which is a lot more proactive. Just an observation.
Thank you, committee member, and Chair Pacheco, Madam Chair Foster. That's a very good question, and I'm glad that you pointed, it could be also my accent that I don't pronounce forward really well, but certainly I'll bring that feedback back. I think that what is important as I answer your question regarding our hiring and how we ensure that we continue to review our hiring practices to be more equitable and to hire those that are qualified individuals that are representative of our communities. We have, as you can see, part of our strategic priorities, employees. So it's and under employees, we are working really diligently and intentionally to attract, retain, and develop and support our workforce that represent our communities. I know that, Shamara talked a little bit about how, we have ongoing cohorts of new TRIP agents or Transit Rider Investment Program agents. And we not only ensure that our hiring practices our recruitment practices are inclusive, and we go, we look internally as well as in external pools of candidates that will help us fill those positions, but also how we onboard, how we, and how we train them to be successful in their roles. And the same goes with Sergeant Mohammed in terms of our CSO Pathways program, and ensuring that those programs are well known within communities of color and those that sometimes are harder to reach with information about, hey, there is a program that pays for 12 college credits and then explores into a new career pathway potentially. I know Sergeant Mohammed is very involved and works with HR closely on ensuring that we hire more women, right, in the work in law enforcement, the force, and so. Absolutely. We are committed to ensure that our hiring practices, from the recruitment to the onboarding and the retention, continue to use equity lenses, so we don't disproportionately and unintentionally sometimes impact those that are most impacted historically. I don't know if Shamara or Sergeant Mohammed, you want to talk a little bit more about how you work with HR on that?
Sure, I can go first and then pass the ball, Shamara, if that's okay. So as Selena mentioned, I work closely not only with HR to ensure that we are doing equitable processes in our hiring, and not only in the hiring process, but even in the interview process when we're asking questions, make sure that we are connecting with our Office of Equal Opportunity and ensuring that our questions are equitable and we are reaching a wide range of folks. And as a department, also are part of the 30 by 30 initiative, which requires our department to be 30% women by the year of 2030. And right now we're at 22%, so we're well on our way to that goal. And we, as far as the Pathways program, we are not only have we worked with HR, but we contracted with the previous Commissioner Harrington to try to get us into neighborhoods that we traditionally would not have gotten into as a law enforcement agency, whether between Girls and Boy Scouts, our North Side community in Minneapolis, high schools, especially younger students who maybe weren't thinking about law enforcement, our older generations within different religious groups. So really trying to get our face out there in every possible way we can, and just spread the word that not only does our agency exist, but we provide opportunities for you and try to meet you where you're at in your life to help you and assist you get into this role.
Thank you, Sergeant. Shamara, you want to say something about how we recruit new TRIP agents?
Yeah, so to be honest, the few times that we have posted the TRIP agent, we have gotten big feedback as far as people applying. So going out to community events in our neighborhoods and in our community is one big thing that we did when we first posted the position. And also hiring internally and externally. And then we always have a variety of individuals on our interview panel as well. So we try to make sure that that's versatile as well. So we are making those efforts to make our team diverse and reflect our community.
Thank you. Otherwise, they'll hear from me.
That's right.
Mitchell?
Yeah, hi, Mitchell Hansen, at large. I just wanted to, so I've heard a lot about the HAP program, just kind of like by word of mouth. And it seems like a really good thing. And I guess I just have always been really curious what that kind of looks like on the ground. Because it seems like it's kind of like understaffed, and it seems like it's kind of a really awesome thing. That like one of the best ideas I've heard. So I was just kind of wondering, like, what does that look like for y'all going out with the HAP program? And I guess just within that question, if if you're providing vouchers, the next step after that, like, is there case management or follow up, or kind of how does that work? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair Councilmember Pacheco, Madam Chair Foster, and Committee Member Hansen. We are very fortunate today that we have Sergeant Mohammed, a former HAT sergeant, so she can really share more about the wonderful things that HAT does, and then the partnership with our Metro HRA. Sergeant Mohammed.
Yeah, so you bring I think, a really interesting point. You're right; they really are understaffed. Originally, the team was developed in 2018, and it was the first of its kind in the U.S. So we are really leading in that effort. And it was 6 officers and 2 sergeants and a lieutenant. But due to staffing levels in general for the whole department, we've had to downscale. Even with that being said, our officers really do work hard to work with the community. As far as boots on the ground goes, they are riding the trains and engaging with the folks. Like Shamara said, we are working closely too with TRIP agents and hand in hand with even our patrol officers whenever they encounter someone who's looking for resources. Even if it's something like a pair of shoes, they'll call our HAT officers and are able to provide that. So after that initial contact, officers are able to get a release of information sign, ensure that we can even share their information with other partnering agencies such as Hennepin County or Ramsey County, get them connected to services if that's what they're interested in. Not only shelter or otherwise. And as far as the vouchers goes, if we do have vouchers, which HRA provides or Housing Administration provides, it's not just fill the application and kind of let them go. There is, like you mentioned, a case management follow up with them. We are contracted with Hennepin County in Radius Health right now. And Selena can update me as well, because I know I've been out of the hat game for a while. But we do contract with those different agencies to provide that case management, because some of the folks that we deal with have been living on the street for so long that they do need a little assistance along the way to ensure that they stay housed and that they are being connected to their services on a regular basis, whether that be the mental health a portion or just government assistance. And for that HRA housing voucher, it is like a yearly reinstatement. So when that year time comes around, HRA does work closely with our head officers to ensure we're going back and reconnecting with that client and ensuring, are you still in the right space for you? Is it working? And then ensuring that, they're not thrown out in the street, and we can get them back into their housing for that next year. So it is a lot of work, and we try to, although the resources are spread thin, we try to make sure that HAT officers are available during the day and evening hours, weekends, and they do a lot of different outreach with even other departments. We have a mobile assessment vehicle where clients can come onto the vehicle, get medical assistance if they need to, connect with the county assistance if needed, and that vehicle can travel anywhere and meet people where they're at, whether that's in the suburbs or within the city as well. I hope I
Thank you very
answered.
much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I mean, there's got to be some money somewhere to fund this more. Like there has to be. And I think it's a really cool thing. And it says something that I heard it from someone else who's like, but this program is really awesome. And I was like, oh, so yeah, I just want to strongly advocate. I mean, for anyone that has anything to do with funding, just like that's a brilliant idea. And I'm really happy that it exists, because it's just a very logical solution to this problem. And
Thank
it's
you.
cool that it's a pilot program. So yeah, it's just however they can find money, they should put more into this.
Yeah, so far
Yeah.
it's working out.
Yeah. And I want to correct myself that the HAT team has 3 officers, 1 sergeant, and 1 intern, because Miss Hannah is doing an amazing job, really coordinating those partnerships. I mean, HAT is very successful, and it should certainly be, scaled up. But it's successful because of the partnerships. Hennepin County, Ramsey County, Coast, City of St. Paul, Radius Helps, Mental Health Minnesota. So there are so many partners in the community that really assist with the very comprehensive needs of those that are seeking shelter, treatment, and other things. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as far as numbers goes, I believe they've housed over 300 people, and I don't know as number wise goes, but majority of those people are still housed. So I think that's the success speaks for itself. Yeah.
That's more than any agency on its own.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of having the different resources to add to it. So people look at just the safety and police officers don't realize how much more we do beyond that. And whether it's the working with the HAT team or just cleaning up the bus stops, when you were talking earlier about that makes a difference. It was years ago when New York started getting the garbage off the streets, they noticed the crime went down. You're less likely to tag something. You want to sit down. You're not just rushing in and out. And we have some nice bus stops. I mean, I come down the line number 6 down Hennepin, but and the other thing is that not everyone. I'm considering taking if my daughter goes with adopting one of those spots by our house, but I think that's it does make a difference. It does support what you're doing out there. It may not directly, but indirectly, I think it's another feather in your cap as far as doing something up above and beyond just all police, what quote unquote police work would be.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Councilmember Pacheco. Adopt a Stop is a great program. If you're not aware, you, your family, your coworkers, your team, your soccer team can adopt a stop and really help, our staff keeping that stop and that shelter or stop clean and looking good. Equity and inclusion, we have it stop up North Minneapolis. I know a lot of departments within Metro Transit, they adopt a stop, but we know a lot of residents adopt a stop or a shelter, and that is a great program too that continues to grow.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I want to thank you all our presenters
Sorry,
here.
I wanted to raise
Oh.
my hand real quick.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Back
Okay.
to Selena's questions that she asked. Did you guys want to chime in on those questions? Just to say, like, if you want them to come back, if you do want them to come back, what would you like to see? If there is anything, so that she can just get some information asked from the questions, specifically to them coming back. We would like some feedback there.
It'd be great to hear an end of the summer report in terms of the encounters and what's that look like, and also hopefully, and I know they're doing this, interviewing some of the clients to get kind of take the temperature, how in the present day or this present summer, how do they see these efforts, and what has it meant to them, sort of like a human interest approach too.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Dr. Carter and Madam Chair. We do have we do have a program now with the Transit app. So those users that use the Transit app as a wayfinding for transit in the Twin Cities, we are collecting some information about their experiences that can help us better understand not only safety and cleanliness, but also overall our surveys and scheduling. So it gives us a really great insight about how our riders are experiencing our system, not only from the safety and security point of view, but also the reliability on time, etc. So we can talk to our colleagues in strategic initiatives and see if that is if it's a topic of interest for this committee. We can certainly come back after the summer and talk about it.
Mr. Councilmember Carter? It's you, but you're mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
That's
want
all
to
right.
say thank
I
you.
thought you meant me. Sorry.
You know, I just want to add, you know, my father spent years on the street, and finally that he had to be institutionalized. So every time I see the face of someone in need like that, I see his face, and I think about all the nameless people that helped him. So my hat's off to everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I think Edward, I'd say, committee member.
Mr. Chair,
McDonald?
I think Michael was before me, and I'll go after
Okay.
him.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, sorry, just really quick. So my friend Rose, who was experiencing some housing issues and stuff, she was on the train, and she had bought like a ticket with the app, but her phone died. And I'm sure you probably already have that figured out, but if you want to follow up an email or whatever, it's something she asked me to ask, just to like, because nothing happened, but she was worried that if someone came on and asked for her fare, that her phone would be dead, and then she'd be. So I just wanted to ask that on behalf of a community member. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Shamara, can you share a little bit more about how fare enforcement goes for trip agents? And, you know, we have that probably situation often where people's phone die, and that's the proof of payment.
Yes.
Shamara, you want to say more? Yeah.
Yeah, so we do get that a lot. And the expectation is for the person to make sure that their phone is charged for the duration of the ride. But we do have a lot of discretion in our job as well. So our agents, depending on the situation and the conversation we have, if the person says that, you know, my phone died, I did purchase a fare, things of that nature, two things can happen. Either they can step off and just purchase another fare, or they can receive a citation. But at that time, they can kind of show proof that they did purchase a fare, and then they will disregard the citation at that point. So they will still have to go through the whole process of verifying and making sure that they did purchase the fare.
Would it be possible to give agents like portable chargers for people's phones so that they could charge their phone and improve it?
The thing with that, then we'll be having to probably charge a bunch of phones, and that will slow us down. As of right now, we don't ride trains in. We are only on the trains for a certain point of time. And so then we jump off and we're on a different train. So, I mean, maybe in the future could be something, but then that will be something that we will have to be available to everyone who may need a charger. And I don't know if we'll be able to be of service in that kind of way. But there are processes with the citation to where they just call and say, hey, I did purchase. And then on the back end, they can verify it, and then it'll just be thrown out. So.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Councilmember McDonald, a committee member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh.
You know, I mean, anytime you guys want to come, you should come and report to us. It's great to hear all of this positive work going on. So I would appreciate that. And I'm sure there's going to be times when we may just make a special request to have you guys come before us. In the future, though, it would be good for me, and I hope other members, if you had suggestions as to how we can help when you're challenged in a certain kind of way with something, if it's navigating communities or whatever it might be, we may be able to respond spontaneously and offer up some helpful suggestions to things that you're challenged with. The other one is, you know, as it relates to our communities, communities of color and the socioeconomic challenges that they're facing, it would be important to me, and I hope for the other committee members, that we could have a little bit more detail around contracting opportunities that are available for community-based entities and other private sources, and a need for communities of color to interact in this great collaborative effort that you got going on, as well as I'm still kind of seeing all of those employment opportunities there, and how we may be able to ensure that you get a great pool of qualified candidates to be considered in your selection process. So if we can get some data on that and challenge us to help you with filling those positions, that would be a good way for us to achieve some of the things that we want to do in expanding equity within the Metropolitan Council.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank Chair Pacheco, Madam Chair Foster, and Committee Member McDonald, thank you for those questions. So the first answer, I mean, I thought about these two as I was preparing the presentation and posting those questions. And I would love, to see if there's interest of this committee to come and, see how TRIP agents are. I see them every day, right? But, we work very closely with agents. And, you can certainly come and see how they conduct fair enforcement, how, what are the challenges they face, as, maybe you can ride with us. The same, and I'm going to put you on the spot, Sergeant Mohammed, to have, you come and meet our CSOs and welcome those community service officers that are really exploring law enforcement as a career. So you can see who they are, how they're working. So that's something that would really benefit us, is if you can come and really see firsthand how all these wonderful people are making our system safer. So that's something that, let me know, and I'll be happy to coordinate some shadowing or like visits or tours. In terms of contracting, yes, and we put it on the slide. We didn't spend much time about it, but in 2025, we have adopted a budget that has some money and funds that are going to be distributed to community-based organizations to continue to help us with some of the work that agents, Shamara's agents, do in terms of connecting folks with resources, but more intervention services. So we have had an experience with 10 community-based organizations under our TC program, Transit Service Intervention Project, rather, not a program. And we had about, of those 10 vendors, I think 7 of them were community-based organizations, people of color led, and we learned a lot of partnering with those violence interrupters and community-based organizations. So that's the lessons of that project really helped develop the budget for 2025. So those contract opportunities will come later in the year. I will come to this committee and I'll make sure that you know about the timeline. So that is help that we'll need from you in terms of letting your constituents and your community members know that there will be contracting opportunities for Met Council for this type of intervention services. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And again, we can keep you posted on like openings and cohorts. Certainly we can share that with Tori and Lila and share with this community so we can continue to share those workforce opportunities with your communities.
Thank you.
All right. We still have time. So I just want to thank Sergeant Mohammed, Shamara Baggett, and Selena Martina for this presentation. This is really good. I like this. There's a good exchange of information, and I know we're going to hear from you some more. Along the reporting kind of structure, we used to have committee reports, and they went away for a while because I think they were just a little different. But it'll be an opportunity for council members to bring something before, as we go through. We may not have something every meeting. So myself and the other council members will we'll have a spot on the agenda on a regular basis in case we want to bring something forward, or if you have a question for one of us, because we are actually your liaison also to the full council members. If there's no other items to bring before the body, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. No one
So
wants to
moved,
adjourn?
Mr. Chair.
All right, it's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We left you about a half hour here, some time here, so a little bit of time here, but so thank you all. This has been a very good meeting.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Appreciate you.